I never thought that moving into a new apartment could be this unsettling. The building was old, with creaking floors and narrow hallways, but the rent was surprisingly low. At first, I told myself it was just an old building, nothing more. The first night, I noticed small scratches on the walls of my living room, almost like someone had been trying to hide something. I shrugged it off. Maybe it was the previous tenant, I thought. A few days later, I came home from work to find my living room slightly rearranged. My couch was a bit shifted, and a magazine I was sure I hadn't moved was now on the floor. I felt a chill, but I convinced myself it was just my mind playing tricks. Then I started hearing noises at night. Tiny clicks, almost mechanical, coming from the corner of the room. I tried to ignore it, thinking it was the old pipes or the heating system. But one night, the clicking stopped, replaced by whispers. I could swear someone was talking, but I couldn't make out the words. I decided to check the walls. Maybe there was some wiring causing the noises. That's when I noticed it. A tiny pinhole above the bookshelf. My heart raced. I got closer and realized it was a hidden camera perfectly embedded in the wall. My stomach dropped. Someone had been watching me. I called the police, but they said without evidence, there was nothing they could do. I tried to live normally, but every glance at that corner reminded me of being watched. One night, I woke up to a sound from my laptop. I had left it on for no reason. The screen was on, showing a live feed of my living room, my own living room, from the exact angle of the hidden camera. My hands shook as I reached to turn it off, but it felt like the camera was laughing at me. I began setting up my own cameras around the apartment, trying to catch whoever was doing this. For weeks, I reviewed hours of footage, finding nothing, until one night the feed flickered, and I saw it, a shadow moving behind me while I was asleep. I froze. The figure was tall, featureless, standing silently in my bedroom. The next day, I moved everything in the apartment, tearing down shelves, checking every corner. I didn't find another camera, but I felt them watching. I could feel their presence in the walls, in the corners, even in the air. Then I found a note taped to the inside of my closet. I see you. You think you're safe, but I am everywhere. Because of it, you will never be alone. But you can't stop me. I don't know how they got in or how long they've been watching me. I thought I was careful, but the moment I realized someone could be watching my every move, everything changed. I stopped going out, stopped answering calls, stopped trusting anyone. Last night, I heard a click again. I froze, my eyes darting to the corner where I had destroyed the camera. The wall was empty, but the sound didn't come from it. It came from my ceiling. I held my breath, realizing the truth. The hidden camera wasn't just in the wall. It was in the apartment, everywhere, always watching. And no matter what I do, I can't turn it off. I never expected that renting a small studio apartment would turn into a nightmare. The building looked ordinary from the outside, but inside it had narrow hallways, flickering lights, and a strange, musty smell. The rent was suspiciously low, but I didn't care. I needed a place quickly. The first week was normal enough. I unpacked my things, set up my furniture, and tried to settle in. But then, small things started happening. My keys would go missing for hours. My shoes would be in a different spot than I left them. And sometimes I felt an almost imperceptible brush against my arm, as if someone had walked past me. I told myself it was just the stress of moving, but deep down, I knew something was off. One evening, as I was watching TV, I noticed the reflection of a small dot on my bookshelf in the corner. I leaned closer and realized it was a tiny lens, a hidden camera, barely noticeable. Panic surged through me. Someone was inside my apartment while I lived here, watching me. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it had been left by the previous tenant, or maybe it was installed by the building management. But the thought that someone had been observing my every move made my skin crawl. I removed the camera and reported it, but the police told me there was no way to trace who had installed it without proper evidence. I decided to live cautiously, but I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every shadow, every flicker of light made me jump. Then the strange incidents escalated. My computer turned on by itself, displaying static for a few seconds before showing live footage of my apartment. The angles matched the hidden camera exactly. I realized whoever had been spying on me had full access to my devices. My heart pounded as I shut everything down, but I knew it wasn't enough. I started searching for other cameras, behind smoke detectors, inside vents, even in the ceiling corners. I found nothing, but the unease didn't leave me. One night, while reviewing my security camera footage, I saw it. A figure standing silently in the corner of my bedroom while I slept. I froze. The figure didn't move, didn't speak. It simply watched. A week later, I discovered a USB drive taped beneath my coffee table. Hesitant, I plugged it into my laptop. The files were videos, hours of footage of me sleeping, eating, even brushing my teeth. The realization hit me hard. Someone had been recording my life for weeks, maybe months. Because of it, I started sleeping with a baseball bat in hand, but I couldn't stop them from watching. Then came the notes. Small, handwritten pieces of paper tucked into drawers, under my pillow, even inside my shoes. I see everything. You are never alone, but you can't escape. I stopped inviting friends over. I stopped answering calls. Every creak of the floor made me flinch. The apartment, which once felt like a temporary refuge, now felt like a cage. Last night, I thought I heard a voice whisper my name. I froze, straining to listen. The sound wasn't coming from outside. It was coming from the walls, from the vents, from the very air around me. I realized the cameras weren't just hidden. They were everywhere. Tiny, invisible lenses, recording me at every moment. I tried to leave, but as I packed, I noticed the last note pinned to my coat hanger. Leaving won't help. Because of it, I will always find you, but you'll never see me. Now I sit in my car, staring at the building, knowing that no matter where I go, I am being watched. The feeling of eyes on me isn't just paranoia, it's reality, and I don't know if I'll ever escape. I had just moved into a small apartment downtown. The building was old, but the location was perfect and the rent unbelievably cheap. At first, everything seemed fine. The neighbors were quiet and the rooms were cozy, but then the little things started. It began with missing items. My keys disappeared from the counter for hours, my shoes were moved, and one morning I found my wallet slightly open even though I hadn't touched it. I shrugged it off, blaming my forgetfulness, but the feeling of being watched lingered. A week later, I noticed something strange while cleaning. A small hole, barely noticeable, in the corner of my bedroom. I leaned closer, and my blood ran cold. It was a hidden camera. Someone had been observing me, probably from the moment I moved in. I panicked and reported it to the police, but they said they couldn't do anything without evidence of who installed it. I tried to feel safe, but I couldn't. Every creak in the floor, every shadow made my heart race. One night, I returned from work to find my apartment slightly rearranged. My laptop was open on the table, showing a static-filled screen. Then it switched to a live feed of my living room. I recognized the angles. It was coming from the hidden camera. My stomach sank. Someone was not only watching me, they were controlling my devices. I searched the apartment thoroughly. Smoke detectors, ceiling corners, vents, nothing. But I could feel it. Someone had infiltrated my space completely. I began recording with my own cameras, hoping to catch a glimpse of the intruder. Days passed uneventfully until I reviewed the footage. In the corner of my bedroom, a shadowy figure appeared while I slept. I froze. It didn't move, didn't speak. It simply stood there, watching. Because of it, I couldn't sleep properly for nights. But I couldn't leave. The lease was long, and fear kept me trapped. Then came the notes, slipped under my door, tucked into drawers, and hidden under my pillow. They said, "I see you. You think you're alone, but you're never alone. But you will never catch me." I stopped going out. I stopped inviting friends. Every sound made me jump. Even the hum of my refrigerator felt like footsteps. I realized the cameras were everywhere, hidden so well that I couldn't find them all. One night, while lying in bed, I thought I heard my name whispered. I froze, listening carefully. The sound didn't come from the street or from the neighbors. It came from inside the walls. My heart pounded. I knew then that this wasn't just paranoia. Someone or something was inside my apartment, watching me. I tried to leave, but I found another note pinned to my coat hanger. "Leaving won't save you. Because of it, I am always here, but you won't know where I am." Now I sit in my apartment, wide awake, staring at the corners. Every shadow feels like a presence. Every sound feels deliberate. I don't know who is behind this or why they chose me, but I know one thing. The hidden cameras are everywhere, and no matter what I do, I can't escape their gaze.